Imagine booting up your computer and immediately feeling that everything is familiar, calm, and welcoming, yet at the same time noticeably more refined, faster, and more future-ready than before. That feeling is exactly what Linux Mint 23, codenamed Nova, is designed to deliver. This release is not about flashy gimmicks or radical changes that force users to relearn how to use their systems. Instead, it represents a careful, thoughtful evolution of one of the most beloved desktop Linux distributions in the world. Linux Mint 23 Nova builds on the strengths that made Mint popular in the first place, while quietly introducing changes that, together, fundamentally shift what users can expect from a modern Linux desktop. From the very beginning, Linux Mint has always stood for stability, ease of use, and respect for the user's workflow. Nova continues this philosophy, but adapts it for a world where hardware is changing rapidly. Software delivery models are evolving, and users expect their systems to be both rock-solid and flexible. Mint 23 is built on a newer Ubuntu LTS base, which immediately brings improvements in hardware support, performance optimizations, and long-term reliability. Under the hood, this newer base means a more modern kernel, improved drivers, and better compatibility with the latest CPUs, GPUs, Wi-Fi chips, and storage devices. For many users, this alone changes everything because it means Linux Mint remains a safe choice, even on brand new laptops and desktops, something that used to require more advanced distributions in the past. One of the most important aspects of Linux Mint 23 Nova is how polished the desktop experience feels. Whether you choose Cinnamon, Mate, or XFCE, the desktop environments in this release are more responsive and consistent than ever. Cinnamon, in particular, feels like it has reached a new level of maturity. Animations are smoother, window management is more intelligent, and memory usage has been optimized, so the desktop feels fast even after hours of use. Subtle improvements, such as better multi-monitor handling, more predictable workspace behavior, and refined panel interactions, make daily tasks feel effortless. These are not changes that scream for attention, but after using Nova for a few days, it becomes difficult to go back to older versions. The visual design in Linux Mint 23 Nova also reflects a deeper understanding of what users actually want. Instead of chasing trends, Mint refines its iconic look. The default theme feels cleaner, with better contrast and improved readability across different display types, including high DPI and ultra-wide monitors. Icons are sharper. Spacing feels more intentional, and system dialogues are easier on the eyes during long sessions. Dark mode integration is more consistent across system apps, and switching between light and dark themes feels seamless. This visual coherence matters because it reduces friction and fatigue, especially for users who spend many hours a day in front of their screens. Another major area where Linux Mint 23 Nova changes everything is software management. Mint has always been praised for its software manager, and in Nova it becomes even more reliable and intelligent. Application listings load faster, updates are clearer, and dependency handling is more robust. Flatpak support is better integrated, allowing users to access newer versions of applications without compromising system stability. At the same time, Mint continues to respect user choice by not forcing a single packaging format. Traditional deb packages, Flatpaks, and even app images coexist in a way that feels natural rather than confusing. This balanced approach is one of Mint's greatest strengths, and Nova reinforces it. System updates in Linux Mint 23 Nova feel safer and more transparent than ever. The Update Manager provides clearer explanations of what each update does and why it matters. Kernel management is more user-friendly, making it easier to switch kernels if needed, for hardware compatibility or troubleshooting. Timeshift integration remains a cornerstone of Mint's update philosophy, encouraging users to create system snapshots before major changes. This focus on safety means users can update their systems with confidence, a crucial factor for beginners and professionals alike. Performance improvements in Nova go beyond the desktop environment. Boot times are faster, system services start more efficiently, and background tasks are better optimized. On older hardware, these improvements are especially noticeable. Linux Mint has long been a favorite for reviving aging machines, and Nova continues this tradition, while also scaling beautifully on modern systems with fast SSDs and plenty of RAM. Power management has also been refined, leading to better battery life on laptops. For users who rely on their machines for work or study, these incremental gains add up to a significantly better daily experience. Security is another area where Linux Mint 23 Nova quietly raises the bar. Built on a newer Ubuntu LTS base, it benefits from updated security frameworks, improved sandboxing capabilities, and more timely security patches. API profiles are better maintained, and the system's firewall tools are more approachable for users who want to customize their security settings. Importantly, Mint continues to balance security with usability, avoiding heavy-handed restrictions that could frustrate less technical users. The result is a system that feels safe without feeling locked down. Linux Mint 23 Nova also shines when it comes to hardware support and drivers. The driver manager does an excellent job of detecting proprietary drivers when needed, particularly for NVIDIA GPUs and certain Wi-Fi chipsets. This makes the installation process smoother and reduces the need for manual configuration. For gamers and content creators, improved graphics stack support means better performance in modern games and creative applications. Compatibility with popular peripherals, such as printers, scanners, and audio interfaces, has also improved, making Nova a strong choice for home offices and creative studios. Another subtle but powerful change in Linux Mint 23 Nova is how it handles system configuration. The settings application feels more cohesive, with related options grouped more logically. Search functionality within settings is faster and more accurate, helping users quickly find what they need. Small touches, such as clearer descriptions and smarter defaults, make a big difference, especially for users who are new to Linux. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, users are gently guided toward sensible choices. The file manager experience in Linux Mint 23 Nova is also more refined. Nemo Mint's default file manager feels faster and more capable. File operations are more reliable, previews load more smoothly, and integration with network shares and removable devices is more robust. These improvements may sound minor, but for anyone who spends a lot of time organizing files, transferring data, or working with external drives, they significantly improve productivity. Linux Mint 23 Nova also reflects a growing awareness of modern workflows. Better support for Wayland, while still prioritizing stability, prepares Mint for the future without forcing users into experimental setups. Improvements in fractional scaling make high-resolution displays more usable, especially on laptops with small screens. Keyboard shortcuts and accessibility features have been enhanced, ensuring that Mint remains inclusive and adaptable to different needs and preferences. For developers, Linux Mint 23 Nova provides a solid and predictable environment. Updated compilers, libraries, and development tools make it easier to work with modern programming languages and frameworks. At the same time, the system remains stable enough for long-term projects, reducing the risk of unexpected breakage after updates. This balance between freshness and stability is difficult to achieve, and Mint continues to handle it better than most desktop distributions. The application ecosystem in Linux Mint 23 Nova also feels more curated. Default applications are carefully chosen to provide a complete out-of-a-box experience without overwhelming the user. Essential tools for browsing, email, office work, media playback, and system maintenance are included, while unnecessary extras are avoided. This minimalist approach respects the user's time and storage, while still delivering a fully functional desktop from the first boot. Community support remains one of Linux Mint's greatest strengths, and Nova benefits from this deeply. Documentation, forums, and tutorials quickly adapt to the new release, making it easier for users to find help and share knowledge. Because Mint evolves, rather than radically changes, upgrading to Nova feels like a natural step rather than a risky leap. Existing users can transition smoothly, while newcomers find a welcoming environment that doesn't demand advanced technical skills. One of the reasons Linux Mint 23 Nova changes everything is not because of a single revolutionary feature, but because of how all these improvements come together. The system feels coherent, dependable, and thoughtfully designed. It respects the user's habits, while gently introducing modern capabilities. In a Linux landscape where many distributions chase innovation at the cost of stability, Mint Nova proves that careful refinement can be just as transformative. For users coming from Windows or Mac OS, Linux Mint 23 Nova offers a comfortable landing zone. The familiar desktop layout, intuitive controls, and excellent hardware support reduce the learning curve. At the same time, Mint introduces users to the power and flexibility of Linux in a way that feels empowering rather than intimidating. This makes Nova an ideal gateway into the Linux world, as well as a long-term home for experienced users. Even for long-time Linux Mint users, Nova feels special. It represents years of accumulated experience, feedback, and incremental improvements. Each version of Mint has built on the last, and Nova feels like a culmination of that journey. It's the kind of release that doesn't just add features, but strengthens trust. Users feel confident that their system will work today, tomorrow, and years into the future. In the end, Linux Mint 23 Nova changes everything, not by shouting about innovation, but by quietly delivering it. It shows that a desktop operating system can be modern without being chaotic, powerful without being complicated, and secure without being restrictive. It reinforces the idea that Linux can be both user-friendly and technically robust, appealing to beginners and experts alike. Nova is not just another update. It's a statement about what a mature, user-focused Linux distribution can be, and why Linux Mint continues to be one of the best choices for anyone who values stability, usability, and freedom in their computing experience.